Imagine a child alone in a room, crying for attention, while adults pass by, unaware of the emotional storm brewing inside them. This scene is more common than we'd like to think. Neglect and trauma in childhood can stick with a person for years, even decades. So what does that actually look like as they grow up? And how do modern clinical practices address these long-term psychological effects? First off, let's get into the reality of neglect. It's not just about missing meals or having a messy room. Neglect can be emotional too. A child might not receive the love or attention they need, and that can lead to feelings of worthlessness or anxiety. They might develop a sense of mistrust toward others, which can shape how they interact in relationships for the rest of their lives. It's mind-boggling, right? Studies show that children who experience neglect often struggle with forming secure attachments. We're talking about basic human connections here. As they grow older, these kids may find it hard to maintain friendships or romantic relationships. They might push people away or conversely, cling too tightly to those they do trust, fearing abandonment. And here's a kicker. The average IQ of children raised in neglectful environments can drop significantly. We're looking at numbers in the low 70s compared to around 100 for kids who grow up in stable families. A stark difference. This isn't just about smarts, though. It's about how their brains develop. MRI scans reveal that neglected children often have physically smaller brains. It's like their growth gets stunted, not just in a mental sense, but also physically. Now you might wonder, how does this play out in adulthood? That's where it gets really interesting. Adults who faced neglect or trauma in childhood often develop mental health issues. We're talking anxiety, depression, and even personality disorders. It's like a snowball effect. The earlier the trauma, the bigger the impact later on. But wait, here's something that might surprise you. Recovery is possible, but it comes with a deadline. Research shows that children placed in loving families before their second birthday show useful improvements in brain activity. It's like they have this window of opportunity to heal. After that, the chances of fully recovering from the effects of neglect decrease drastically. So, what about these community support systems? They play a critical role in fostering resilience. Children who grow up in neighborhoods with strong community ties often fare better, even if they experience some form of neglect. It's like having a safety net. They might not have the best home life, but knowing there are caring adults in their lives can make all the difference. In modern-day parenting, we see the impact of community support more than ever. Think about it. Parents today are often overwhelmed, juggling work and family life. Yet, those who lean on their community, be it family, friends, or even local organizations, tend to raise more resilient kids. They share the load, swap stories, and create a network of support that can help mitigate the effects of their own childhood trauma. Let's pivot for a moment and talk about the role of evolutionary psychology here. It's pretty real. Our ancestors lived in tight-knit communities, relying on each other for survival. Those who formed strong bonds likely had a better chance of thriving. So, when we look at today's societies, it's clear that the need for connection hasn't gone away. It's just morphed into different forms. Now, you might find it interesting to note that in many cultures, the concept of parenting can vary dramatically. For instance, in some indigenous cultures, child rearing is a community affair. Everyone plays a role, and the child benefits from multiple perspectives. This collective approach can help counteract the effects of neglect, as each adult contributes to the child's emotional and social development. However, modern parenting often leans toward the nuclear family model, which can isolate parents and children alike. With the rise of technology, kids spend more time in front of screens and less time interacting with real people. This shift can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and neglect, even among families who are physically together. But let's get back to the psychological effects of trauma. Picture this. Someone who grew up with neglect might struggle to set boundaries in relationships. They may feel guilty for wanting time alone or for asserting their needs. This can lead to burnout or resentment in friendships or romantic partnerships. The emotional toll is heavy. Here's a gut punch. Many of these adults may not even realize that their struggles stem from childhood trauma. They could blame themselves for their inability to connect or maintain relationships. This internal battle can be exhausting. So, how are contemporary clinical practices addressing these issues? Therapists today are more equipped than ever to help individuals work through their trauma. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a common approach that helps patients identify negative thought patterns and replace them with healthier ones. The goal: to break the cycle of trauma and create a more positive self-image. Another interesting method gaining traction is trauma-informed care. This approach acknowledges the widespread impact of trauma and emphasizes safety, trustworthiness, and empowerment in the therapeutic process. It's not just about treating symptoms, it's about understanding the root causes and helping individuals reclaim their lives. Yet, there's still a gap in addressing how societal structures influence these outcomes. For instance, access to mental health resources can vary widely depending on socioeconomic status. Those who can't afford therapy may miss out on the chance to heal. It's a systemic issue that needs addressing. And what about those who do seek help? The journey to recovery can be rocky. Many individuals find themselves cycling through therapy, trying different techniques, and often feeling disheartened when progress seems slow. It's important to remember that healing isn't linear. There will be ups and downs, and that's okay. Here's a thought. How does one go about forming new relationships post-trauma? It's not easy. For many, the fear of abandonment or rejection can rear its ugly head, making it tough to trust others. This is where community support becomes important again. Having a reliable support system can provide the encouragement needed to take those first steps toward connection. Now let's think about resilience for a second. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about thriving despite adversity. Some people develop real coping mechanisms that allow them to navigate life's challenges. They might channel their experiences into art, advocacy, or mentoring others. It's a good transformation, turning pain into purpose. As we explore these themes, it's important to acknowledge that trauma can also lead to profound insights and growth. Some people emerge from their struggles with a deeper understanding of themselves and others. They develop empathy, compassion, and a drive to create positive change in the world. But this isn't to say that trauma is a gift. It's not. The scars it leaves can be deep and painful. Yet, the resilience shown by those who face these challenges can inspire us all. So, what can we take away from all this? First, the importance of recognizing the long-term effects of neglect and trauma is important. Understanding how these experiences shape individuals can a more compassionate society. Second, community support is important too. It's not just about individual healing, but about creating environments where everyone can thrive. When we come together, we can help break the cycle of trauma and create a more connected world. Lastly, let's not forget the role of modern clinical practices. They're evolving, and with them comes hope for those struggling with the impacts of their past. In the end, it's a complex web of experiences, emotions, and relationships that shape who we are. The journey may be long, but with empathy, understanding, and support, healing is possible. So, let's keep the conversation going. What are your thoughts on how society can better support those affected by trauma?